Welcome to the podcast of School Beyond Limitations. In this podcast, you will learn how to guide your child through their school life with the intention to help them find their unique essence that will allow your daughter, your son to live a fulfilled and meaningful life. What happens to students who have a fully scheduled school life? My name is Dr. Martina. I'm the co-founder, CEO and designer of the school model of School Beyond Limitations. If you would like your child to live a fulfilled and happy life, then this may be the channel for you. So what happens if there's a very rigid and full schedule every day for students? I would like to share with you one of the stories that I constantly hear when students are in the application process to join School Beyond Limitations. Only recently I met again two siblings who were talking about their school life. And when they talked about their school life, and I'm talking about students who are 10 and 12, still very young, they talked about their full schedule. They said that they are getting up at 6:30, that school then starts at 8, and school is a day school, so it doesn't end before 5 p.m., which means that they come home at 5 p.m. And this means still, and they said, we are not yet done with our homework. So there's still much more to do. They have regular tests taking place. They need to study, but on top of studying and repeating, which is also good at times, of course, they were also meant to do their homework. So that meant that they, after coming home, they have a very short break, and then they start doing their homework. And basically at 7:30, they only finish with their daily work. So you can imagine what this means. This means that this student is completely, or these students are completely busy all day long. And what these students actually said to me, I asked them, how do you feel about your school life? And they said, we don't see any meaning in it anymore, because we have to, first and foremost, we have to do everything by ourselves. So our teachers tell us, this has to be completed and that has to be completed, and we need to study for a test, and they need to do lots of projects, which is, of course, an interesting way forward. But however, there was no time to really dive deep into those projects. It was more geared towards completing something and putting a lot of stress on them. What I perceived by talking to these children or students or teenagers, not yet, I sensed, this kind of disappointment, delusion that basically school is just the way it is, and school doesn't really give them the feeling of curiosity, of motivation, of inspiration. It's more about just completing the tasks and functioning like, a robot, basically, because anytime they have something, they would like to do something, there is no time. So what is the side effect of such a scheduled life? I mean, first and foremost, in my view, we create an environment around the students that they perceive school as a working day, as something separate from life, because I'm going to school, everything is planned for myself. I have to do everything the way it's been, forecasted and prepared for myself, and I have to function. I have to do all of this because it's coming from the outside constantly, what I need to do. And where is the space for the creativity of each child? And where is the space for time for them to just relax, to just say, now I'm ready to read a book, or I'm ready to go outside, I'm ready to meet with friends. In such a packed, scheduled school day, there is basically no time for all of that. And we know by now more than ever, and our parents, when we grew up, they knew it. They gave us a lot of time to play outside. They knew it already, what is important for a child to grow up, to be with others, to have time for themselves, to be able to follow their own creative moments, and to and to create something new, and to be outside in nature, and to just uh, have a moment of exploring themselves. And this is kind of getting lost in today's school life, in many schools, especially in those schools which are aiming for high academic results. And if the academics, and again, I would like to emphasize the importance of academics as well, but if there is no balance and it's all geared only towards intaking notions and intaking information, then there is a disconnection between the creativity uh, of each student, the possibility of giving them space and time to go into something in more detail, and to allow the magic to happen. And what I also realized, and by talking to also these two students, is that they are extremely stressed. So, first and foremost, as mentioned before, they are demotivated, disappointed, disillusioned. They don't have any inspiration, and not really an aspiration either, because they do not see the meaning in what they are doing. That takes away the factor of well-being, that takes away the factor of finding or recharging the intrinsic motivation. Once that fire has been blocked, it's not easy to rebuild it again, because it's actually something that's innate within ourselves, the intrinsic motivation. But if it's constantly covered, and if there's always coming stimuli from the outside which have to be fulfilled because it has to be done that way, then that person may lose motivation completely, and may also get into a state of fear, anxiety, of not performing well enough. And in certain cases, this also leads to burnouts. We encounter many times students who actually have just um, decided, I'm not doing anything anymore. It's not a conscious decision they are making. It's not a conscious decision. It's also a building up of the experience. Okay, I don't have any say in this. And if I don't have any say in this, I just reduce my engagement and start. And the more I reduce the engagement, the more I don't feel alive anymore. And then there comes the point when I realize, okay, miss, I miss the connection to what's going on in school. I miss out on many things because I'm not mentally there, I'm not spiritually there, I'm not intellectually there. Then, of course, I miss out on everything in what is happening within the classroom context. And the gap between students who come along, and there are, of course, and those students who actually lose this kind of connection and lose this kind of interest, becomes bigger and bigger. And you can imagine that when this is happening, then either, the school has to be changed. And sometimes, it's just a fast change into another school because we think this other school, I start from scratch and maybe everything will change. But no, it will not change if it's the same model. And if you want to nurture further this kind of approach, where we create an environment where students basically function, and they have a full scheduled day, then they don't feel motivated. And it takes again a long time to rebuild this motivation again, as mentioned before. So, whilst it's not only negative, don't get me wrong, to plan certain things in one's life and to have, certain expectations and also certain standards, but it's important to look whether this is the right thing for this specific student. I personally think we are overloading the students if we, create such an environment, because the student basically learns to function, and this is not what we are here to do. I mean, we are here to bring and this is what SPL is doing, to allow students to bring their essence into life. It is about students understanding, okay, I am allowed to have a balanced life. First and foremost, why do we have to make this distinction between school and outside world? Well, school is important. In school, I get, a lot of inspiration from others, but I advocate that we do not have to be at school for 8 and 9 hours. I advocate, and this is also what we are doing at School Beyond Limitations, that a reduced school schedule allows for students to organize their free time according to what they would like to do and according to what has been, kicked off within the lesson. So I think in order to get back what happens to students who have a fully scheduled school life, I can say many times these students really lose the enthusiasm, the passion, the interest, the curiosity for what is going on around them, for learning in general. Learning is something that takes place anytime and everywhere. But if I shut down, nothing will happen, and maybe I will learn by not doing anything after a while and realizing, okay, I'm not here to just stop doing anything. So to get back to the story that I mentioned before, at the end of this conversation with these two students, they said, oh, just during this conversation, we realized that school can be different, and it really feels so good and so positive. And we would really love to be part of a school where we have a say, where we have more time for our hobbies, where we have more time to meet with other people, where we have more time to travel, to be with our family, to do lots of other things, and where we can bring that also into the school context. So this is what we are doing at School Beyond Limitations. This is what we are facilitating, because we know that everything fully scheduled takes us away the spirit, the fire within, and disconnects us from our essence. And we want our students to reconnect with their essence so that they are, ready to live a fulfilled and happy life together with others. This is School Beyond Limitations. If you are interested in School Beyond Limitations, please reach out to us. You will find the website in the description below. At School Beyond Limitations, we support our students find their unique essence. Feel free to share the content of this podcast with other parents. We are here to show that your children can indeed bring their unique essence into life. So, reach out to us if you think that this is what you'd like your daughter, your son to experience, or apply through our website. Also, leave your comments, your questions, or your review about the podcast. Share it with others. And, as you know, sharing is caring.